Hi, everyone. Thank you for being here today. Today, we'll be talking about the knowledge exchange and how we are building a modern data enterprise at OMERS. Before we begin, I'd like to thank the sponsors for making this event possible. And I'll give you a little bit of background into myself. I've been at OMERS for 6 years now, spent 4 years in pension IT and 2 years in corporate IT. Um, in pensions, I supported the implementation of several internal and external technology platforms. And I'm currently the product manager of Knowledge Exchange within corporate IT. So today we're going to talk about how OMERS is building a modern data enterprise. We're going to go over the product overview of the Knowledge Exchange, talk about the product strategy and how we're making that shift with the business, and then we'll talk a little bit about the technical architecture. So today at OMERS, we have four major entities, OMERS Corporate, Global Investments, Pensions, and Oxford, all of which have their own data and analytics spaces. And Knowledge Exchange is the platform that unifies and serves as a window into the data and analytics that's found across the whole organization. So I'll dive into the OMERS Corporate entity just to give you an idea of how Knowledge Exchange interacts with some of the other data products that we have in those areas. So we have Knowledge Exchange providing AI-enabled search for data assets. We're moving forward in a data-driven mindset. We have embedded data governance within the platform, and we also place high importance on data privacy, of course, with all of our data. The data delivery platform is a unique platform product that provides an event-driven data capture, hosts our BI and analytics. We also have AI and machine learning, and that all interacts with Knowledge Exchange to be able to deliver these services to the front-end user. So I'll talk about Knowledge Exchange. We're going to be talking mainly about the front end. So overall, Knowledge Exchange is an enterprise platform that enables faster access to data analytics and internal experts to help our employees inform their data-driven decisions. So the overall vision of Knowledge Exchange is to democratize OMERS and Oxford data and analytics so that we can empower our employees to make these smart decisions. And we want to, as a mission, foster a culture where we're able to discover, apply, and share data in a trusted and governed manner to together advance our strategic business goals. And how are we doing that? Here's a list of of how we do what our vision is, or how we accomplish what our vision is. But I will go through all of that during the demo. So here what I'm stating here is we're unifying all of our internal and external data. We're standardizing the request access process and access provisioning process too. We're identify ownership and accountability for all the assets we make visible. We determine the risk classifications to keep in mind our data privacy to make sure that people know what the controls are surrounding our data. And we share our skills and expertise by highlighting our employees within the platform. And then we're collaborating with each other so that we can leverage reusable assets across all business lines. Okay, and yeah, I'll go through all just to give you a bit more background on what you can expect from Knowledge Exchange. There are three key pillars of KX: data, insights, and people, and all three interact with each other to produce the platform and provide value to our end users. So data consists of all of our applications, databases, business glossaries, data dictionaries, etc., including external sources. And this pillar of Knowledge Exchange enables users to search and discover these assets from within one central source in a secure and governed manner. Then we have insights. Our raw data is under data, and then you get insights from that, which is our reports, our dashboards, AI, ML models that we might have, as well as our automation support services. Then you have people. And people is a unique pillar of knowledge exchange because it connects with both of the other two pillars. When you have data and insights, you also need to know who is responsible and accountable for that data. So people is where that connection comes together, as well as being able to see people in the organization as assets as well, which carry skills and expertise and knowledge that you might not necessarily know. So you can go in the platform and search for people and see what expertise or topics that they have knowledge on. So I'll dive into this a little bit more once we get into the platform. So the key capabilities of the platform are search and browse. The search and browse functionality enables users to quickly and efficiently search for data that they're looking for based on tags, their filters, the risk classification, and various other aspects like who owns it, what business community it's coming from, that kind of thing. So we've streamlined that to make it more AI enabled using cognitive search. Then we have the request access piece, which is when you're able to find the data, you should be able to request access to it if you don't have access to it already, and be able to know who is responsible for providing you access. So you don't have to go through 10 different people within the organization to find who is able to give you access. In this platform, you're able to instantly see who's accountable for that data, and they'll be able to provide you access right away through our provisioning process. Finding experts is another functionality, which I will show you again, related to finding people within the organization based on their names, their job titles, their projects that they've worked on in the past, any skills or expertise that they might have. And then there's another unique aspect of knowledge exchange, which is hosted solutions. We have integrated solutions that provide a unique user experience for specific team members within the organization. So it will be like a separate sub-team that will be able to see this view where the general user will not, so that it keeps their data and the content that they're working with safe and secure. And if anybody else wants access to that data, they will have to go through an approval process. So if we have time, I'll go through that too. Okay, so before we jump into the demo, I just wanted to highlight here the pathway for change into this into this modern data enterprise. There are platform benefits that are enterprise-wide. There are also benefits to to specifically all of the business users. At the enterprise level, we're enabling visibility of all of our assets across the organization, across business lines as well. We're making assets searchable and discoverable from one central location. We're facilitating reusability of data insights and approaches that other teams may be using. And we're also enabling our users to be able to find expertise within people in the organization and facilitate cross team collaboration. At the business user level, we're providing data insights and people at your fingertips. You're able to go to one place instead of going to 10 different places to find what you need. We're providing high quality data that is business validated and approved. We're also enabling you to leverage services and approaches that other teams may be using that you can also leverage within your team. And then we're standardizing the process for accessing data as well, so that everybody will go through one process to be able to retrieve their data. Um, that all put together produces value for the enterprise. So here we have democratization, transparency, and collaboration. Here we're unifying all of our data assets in one place. We're making it transparent and visible across all business lines. And we're also facilitating collaboration amongst all of the team members within your team and outside of your team as well. Okay, so before we dive in, I'd like to summarize what is Knowledge Exchange. It is an enterprise search and collaboration platform for all of our employees. It enables fast access to high quality data and analytics, as well as internal experts. And it helps inform intelligent decision making so that those decisions are made based on the data that we see. It serves as a window into the data and analytics assets that's available across the entire organization, and offers an innovative way to collaborate and intelligently search for data and insights, as well as domain experts within the organization. So the key capabilities and features that we have is providing this global accessibility into our enterprise data catalog. We're providing search and browse capabilities for all areas of the business. and also providing the ability to request and gain access to data quickly, and then be able to find and tap into expertise within our own individual colleagues within the organization. So I'll just jump into the platform. Okay, this is Knowledge Exchange. This is the home page here. At the top, you can see there's a search bar here. And you can see different support services we have on the side. And then you have the ability to explore by business. So I'll show you how you can explore business. Can you see my screen? Yeah. So if you click on OMERS Corporate, you're able to search for assets from a specific business team. In our backend, where we keep our enterprise data catalog is within the Calibra platform. And here we're showcasing the business community areas of all of our enterprise data catalog. So you have under OMERS Corporate, we have communications, corporate services, data and technology. These are all of our sub-functions within under OMERS Corporate. And if I click on, let's say, data and technology, the platform will pull up all of the assets that are relevant to that business area. So you can see all of OMERS Corporate together, or you can deep dive into smaller businesses as well. So within data and technology, if I want to look at enterprise architecture data, I could click on here, click on enterprise architecture, unclick data and technology, and this is all the content that's available for enterprise architecture. So when you click on an asset, so actually let me show you the search. So if I go back to the home page, and I can actually search from up here. If I type in assessment, the platform leverages Azure Cognitive Search to be able to find assets based on their name. There's also ranking, their asset type, and the community. So if I typed in assessment, you see internal assets, analytics assets, external assets, as well as people. So it's actually taking assessment and searching the Calibra catalog to be able to find all the assets relevant to the word assessment. And then it also separates the assets based on categories. So if you remember back to when I was talking about the pillars, we had data, insights, and people. Data includes internal and external data. Insights is analytics, and people is the people category. So we're separating the data based on categories. So if I click on analytics, we have an architecture assessment dashboard. If you click on architecture assessment dashboard, you can see here all of the metadata attributes that are cataloged within our enterprise data catalog. You can see that it's a report, it's built in Power BI, the data risk classification is low. This is the description of the dashboard. You can see what business team within the organizational structure is leveraging this data. And you can also see the owner, steward, and custodian associated with this asset. In addition to just the metadata attributes, we provide additional context to this specific data asset. So you can see that there are related forms or a system here, an application, a SharePoint list, which is the database that drives this report. So you can see what's actually connected to and how it connects to other assets within the enterprise data catalog. And you can see that there's a few business terms as well. I don't know why that one's duplicated, but let me give you an example of, let's say, for example, Knowledge Exchange. I've bookmarked this one here. So Knowledge Exchange is this platform. I've cataloged that within our enterprise data catalog, so people are aware that we have this platform available. You can see that it's being managed or used, leveraged, or developed by the strategy and products team. Jyoti is the owner. myself as a steward, and I have my technical lead as the data custodian. If there's any technical issues, people will be able to reach out to him. Then you see some related systems here. There's a database that I have that I track our engagements. So I've made a SharePoint list to be able to track how we're progressing with the business. I've cataloged that here to show KX engagement records. And off of that, I've built a report or a dashboard that I use to report to the leadership. I've also cataloged that under analytics as a report. So when I come into Knowledge Exchange and I see an application, I also see its underlying database, any analytics associated with it, to give the business user a whole contextual aspect or picture of how it's being used within the enterprise and who's actually leveraging it. The other functionality that I wanted to talk to you about was the people aspect. So if I type in analytics, not only do you get all the assets related to analytics, you also get a picture of all the different people that have analytics in their title, in their department names, and it pulls up everybody that's related to anything analytics within the organization. And I can use the filter on the side to be able to filter out what I'm looking for. So if I'm uh, the first thing I usually start with is organization. If I'm looking for someone with an OMERS, I can filter out Oxford and just click on OMERS here. It will filter down the results from 140 to 109, and it'll only show me OMERS individuals. I can further search and filter down by the roles, or I can filter down by department to be able to target the people that I'm looking for. So let's click on my department here. And these are all the individuals that I work closely with, and anyone can find. Okay, so if I wanted to search, let's say, enterprise architecture, see who is on that team. Also enabled smart search here. So these are all the individuals that are on the enterprise architecture teams. We have both OMERS and Oxford. So if I wanted to click on OMERS, I can see the 8 individuals that are on the enterprise architecture team within OMERS. Um, that's about it. That's the demo. But if you have any questions, we can talk through it and go through it again later. So I'll jump back into here. And I wanted to talk to you about the user personas. Who's going to be leveraging this platform? Who will go into it and use it, right? So this gives you a picture of the different use cases or user personas that are going to be this product is serving. So I'll go through the first 3. We won't go through all of them, but just to give you a picture. So Betty the Biz Whiz. Betty knows her business through and through. She works with data occasionally. She spends a lot of time searching for documents and reports that she needs for her daily tasks. It would save her a lot of time to be able to find data in one place. So the use case that we serve for Betty is searchability, to be able to discover your assets all from one single repository. For Diego, the data dazzler, Diego sits within the business, and analytics is a key part of his role. He finds it difficult locating documentation to help him understand the data flows and how the data is structured. He would really benefit from a unified view of a unified view to see how all of the data interacts with each other. So this comes back to our data catalog and seeing the data lineage of each asset connecting from application to database to warehouse or what have you down the line. So he's looking at data catalog and data lineage. For Teresa, the talented techie, Teresa is a true technologist, but she doesn't have much exposure to analytics in her day-to-day. She finds it difficult managing requests for data access, and she needs a standardized process for delivering data securely and efficiently. So this use case is tied to the request access and the data provisioning process, which is another feature that we provide within Knowledge Exchange. So how does this all tie together? This is a view of our enterprise data catalog and the different types of assets that we hold within the platform. At each layer, you can see where it is useful for certain user personas. At the application layer, you have front-end application users that are generating metrics and leveraging the tools that we have. Then they're generating the raw data that is captured within the raw data layer. So we have technical SMEs within the organization that maintain these applications and databases, operationalize the internal data, and also deliver these data in this data in specific formats. So Teresa, who actually struggles with finding a standardized process, she's going to be working at the raw data layer and working with the databases within Knowledge Exchange. Um, uh, Betty the BizWiz is going to be at the business consumer level where she's leveraging the applications and using the applications to generate data. And then as you continue, you can see at the data transformation layer, we have our data warehouses, data marts, data platforms, and we have other technical SMEs that do ETL or prepare data for analytics. And then above that, we have our data analytics layer, which we have certain teams within the organization and the different business lines, building BI reports, AI, ML models, enabling quick decision making, and automating business processes as well to optimize our workflows. Then you have Diego the Dazzler, who is working a lot with analytics. He's going to be at the data consumer level, where he's leveraging the analytics to make informed decisions, making staffing, investment, or other business decisions. So this picture kind of puts everything together, shows you all the content within Knowledge Exchange, who's using it, and why they're using it at each level. Okay. So before, with all of that said, I want to talk about a little bit about how we're making this shift and how we're working with our business partners to put content into Knowledge Exchange. Knowledge Exchange is a platform that without the content, it's not valuable, right? So we have to work closely with our business partners to be able to put in and ingest content within the platform so that everybody can see it. So, and okay, so a corporate strategy. One of the biggest obstacles for organizational change is the business telling us, I don't need it, I don't understand it, and I'm too busy. So at OMERS, what we're doing is taking a three-step approach for organizational change based on the change management plan and getting buy-in first from our leaders, buy-in and budget. Once you're locked in, you have the budget, there's a goal and target in mind. We provide the business with a POC of how the data looks, what it looks like, why it's valuable, and we go through all of that and showcase that to them. So as we onboard more and more businesses, we're able to provide examples of how, and what value we provided to other businesses so that we can get people to continue to adopt. We prioritize the highly valuable, useful assets. So we'll target assets that have a high volume or greater traffic. So Oxford has, across the organization, we have different data marts or different platforms or data hubs. We'll go to those businesses first to onboard and document those as well. So we prioritize ones that are high volume and highly valuable for the rest of the enterprise. Okay, and as we connect with our business partners, there's this learning journey that they go through. It's a transformational kind of mindset shift. And so it starts with awareness, then we move on to understanding, then acceptance, then readiness, and then adoption. So at the beginning stage, you start off with creating awareness of a need for change. Then we instill an understanding amongst them, tell them what's in it for them, why it's valuable to them, give them an example of different use cases. And then we get that acceptance, and then they agree to get started with us. We initiate engagements. We do kickoff meetings. We put together progress reports to show them and communicate milestones. And we update senior leaders along the way, people who we've gotten buy-in and budget from. And then at the point of readiness, we delegate and train. We assign different individuals on the team with different duties, where they have responsibilities, to kind of let others in their area know how their job from a day-to-day will change. We show people how we want them to work and what it is that they'll need to do going forward. Then at that point, we're ready to shift into adoption, where people are using the platform and seeing the benefit. Then we communicate and get feedback from them, share wins, fix any issues, and keep people updated on upcoming features or upcoming activities that we have ongoing with the Knowledge Exchange platform. Okay. So this cataloging playbook is a step-by-step approach of how we actually onboard our assets. We do a three-step approach when we engage with our business and we do a kickoff. We have a project charter, we have a project schedule, we put together a change management plan which we implement through all of the phases, plan, implement, and maintain. We put together a communication plan and training schedule as well before we shift into the implement stage. At that point, when we're at implement, phase, this is where the bulk of the work is being done. We're creating our data inventory. We're ingesting it into Calibra, where we can use connectors and automated technology to get all the data in. We validate that and get the business to approve. And along the way, we communicate milestones. So we might have like a subset of applications that we cataloged. Then in a few weeks, we'll do, or a week later, we'll do the BI catalog. Those are small milestones that we want to communicate to the business to show them that we're making progress. And at that point too, when we're doing all the cataloging, we're identifying owners and stewards, we're also delivering training. You have to know what your responsibility is as an owner, steward, and custodian. When your name is being put on a platform, people are going to contact you. So you need to know what your roles and responsibilities are. Once all of that is done, we hit the maintenance phase. This is where we do periodic, it could be manual or automated refreshes to make sure that the data is up to date and current. We have event-based updates where if there's any change to ownership, any restructuring that needs to happen, maybe the org restructured and we need to change a few business community names, any descriptions that need to change or new columns that you're adding to your database, those are event-based updates, and that's when we engage with the business, the data governance team and the business to make those updates happen. Then we have attestation. So at an either biannual or annual basis, we'll go back to the business and say, hey, this is your catalog of data. Is it up to date and current? So we can maintain the accuracy of our data. That's when you have your continuous improvement. We also provide refresher training for owners and stewards. Maybe there's someone new to the organization. We also provide refresher trainings too. So in this whole process, we have champions. They're the ones who spread the excitement. They're the ones who support adoption by amplifying communication, celebrating our use cases, and also shortening our learning curves and removing barriers. We also have a data governance platform that supports our adoption by showcasing the business value, the why, and centralizing the how-to information, where you can go and find information on how to do certain things if you didn't participate in training or if you just need more information. Okay. So I'll dive a little bit into our technical architecture. But before that, I want to explain to you how this works. Knowledge exchange has three objectives, and the three major objectives is enterprise search capability, being able to search for our internal and external data, as well as our domain experts, standardizing the data access and provisioning for data sources, and then providing a user interface or front end for people to view our enterprise data catalog. So we have three different, oh, sorry. We have three different users here. You can see data users, technical SMEs, and owners and stewards. They play with they engage with the platform differently. So you have data users searching for data and people. They're also requesting access to data. Technical SMEs are responding to those requests and monitoring the data access as we go. Then you have the technical owners and stewards who are identified for each asset, controlling the governance controls for each asset that we have. In parallel to people using the platform, we work with our business partners to catalog data. This is where we provide them the template, we create the data inventory, we ingest it into Calibra, and that automatically shows up in Knowledge Exchange because the two platforms are integrated together. That enables Knowledge Exchange to provide these services: enterprise search, data marketplace, hosted solutions, and being able to have the expert finder available as well. So to date, we have about 12,000, just over 12,000 assets cataloged. We have 20 business engagements ongoing at the moment. We have 17 business partners that we're working with. So there are some partners that we're doing multiple engagements with. And then we have 5 different data products served. So if you remember back to the very beginning, Knowledge Exchange interacts and integrates with certain data products. We have 5 of them that are engaging with Knowledge Exchange at the moment. And we have one unique hosted solution that we serve for our global equities research team. So this is a high-level architectural overview of the technology behind knowledge exchange. So hold on, let me just pull up the. So OMERS has offices globally with users spanning multiple lines of business and requires the application to be available and online 24/7. So as a result, we need to construct an enterprise solution that is highly available, easy to maintain, and scales globally. Okay, so KX is built on several layers that to make a progressive, well-architected web application. It is a single-page React application written in TypeScript with Material UI components on the front end, and it is hosted on Azure. It is hosted on Azure App Service. We are also using Azure AD as our identity provider and retrieve profile data using Microsoft Graph. Our React application, oh, sorry. Our React application also communicates with our serverless backend, which is built on several dozen Azure functions, which keep the application event-driven, stateless, and allows it to scale horizontally. The serverless backend also communicates with our PaaS layer and our integration layer. Within our PaaS layer, we use Key Vault, NoSQL, the Azure Blob Storage, and Azure Storage Queues. And then we have at the integration layer our Calibra, SharePoint, and CCAN and ServiceNow integrations, but also enterprise level integrations with Equity Research and Portfolio Hub. Okay. All right, and we also, sorry, I just want to mention, we also expose our application endpoints through Apigee. That's our API management solution. Okay. So this is how the application right now works at a high level, and we have a lot on our roadmap to be able to integrate a lot more products that are being served by the business to multiple lines of business, and as we go, we will enhance and streamline some of these processes. Okay, so before we conclude, I just wanted to thank the product team. We have a huge collaboration within architecture, infrastructure, data, and analytics team, which we call ADA. So I sit within strategy, governance, and products team. Here, I work closely with the data governance team and also very closely with the data engineering team, which provides me with my set of developers. And then we also have infrastructure engineering helping us support the application as well. In addition to this collaboration that happens on a regular basis, we also engage with the data privacy team to ensure our data is secure. We also work with the Global Investments Technology team for business partners that are a part of our investment teams. We will also be engaging with pensions, products, and technology later down the line once we start onboarding assets from the pension division. And we're going to be working starting January with Oxford Properties to be able to onboard their assets into the knowledge exchange. So lots of collaboration happening here. There's a lot of people involved, and I think we're making quite a bit of progress. That's it. Thank you so much for participating. Does anyone have any questions? Yeah, so that's a very good question, actually, and that's something that I struggle with on a daily basis. But we've made some good headway. So to start, what we were doing is reaching out to the businesses individually and saying, hey, we want to catalog your data. And that doesn't necessarily work the best way because they have their own roadmaps, they have their own deadlines and targets that they're trying to hit. So what we've done actually in I think August to September, we had our kind of budgeting and strategizing session for the following year. So I embedded knowledge exchange as projects or initiatives with the businesses at this point in time so that next year we have time, resources, and budget available to be able to conduct all of the work that we need to do. So when I first started, I started in January, at the beginning of the year once we were developing and things were popping up in the platform and the platform was ready to use. At that point, I can't go to the business and say, hey, I want to work with your team. I need time and resources. They're going to tell me that, no, I can't because I have other priorities on my roadmap that I need to accomplish. So that's number one, being able to insert yourself during the planning phase for the entire organization and making sure that you have people, the leaders buy-in and the budget at the very beginning before you actually start these engagements, that's key because then you have champions to say, okay, I see this on the roadmap. Let's track it. Let's monitor it. Let's see the status of how we're doing. So that was number one. The other one is having very good operational processes surrounding data governance setup. So if you remember back, I went through plan, implement, and maintain phases. We start each engagement with the businesses by starting by giving them an idea of what's going to be involved, how much time is going to be we're going to require from them, because there's items and activities that the data governance alone can conduct. There's items and activities that we need the business partners to be there for. So we give them a schedule, a project schedule. We set up a charter. We tell them what the goals are going to be, what the expectations are going to be from their side, and be able to clear all of that before we actually start engagement, so that I'm not just booking random ad hoc meetings with their business team, taking away from other priorities that they might have. So having that structure set up at the very beginning and clarifying all of that. And I know it takes time. It's time consuming to do, but it makes everything downstream a lot smoother. So that's how we're starting. So at the very beginning, it was rough. It's a bit chaotic, but as I learned how to engage with the businesses, we've kind of set up these processes now so that the engagements are a lot smoother. So right now, Knowledge Exchange is a platform that doesn't duplicate any data. So any sources that we actually connect to, we're actually, Knowledge Exchange is integrated with Calibra, which is the system or technically the back end of Knowledge Exchange. So we don't really have a database. Like there's no need for us to have a storage repository because our integration is directly with Calibra. Now what Calibra does is connects to the sources at its the raw sources like the databases and repositories, and it pulls in the metadata for those attributes. So like you have your schemas, your tables, your columns. It brings that in, and then we add other additional context around it. So we add the data classification, we add the owners' names, we add the descriptions and things like that. So Knowledge Exchange doesn't duplicate any data within the organization. There's no need for us to connect directly to the source because Calibra is already doing that for us. Yeah, so we let the business teams know ahead of time when we're going to be conducting these activities. When the connection is made, it's refreshed on an automated fashion. So we don't have to keep going back to them to get the credentials. It automatically kind of updates and everything is kind of secure after the first ingestion is done. So we do encounter obstacles with reaching out to the business and them saying like, oh yeah, I don't have time to do this right now. I don't have the resources, but we make sure that we put them in the plan and we communicate that plan to them to say, okay, around January, February, this is what we're going to do, and make sure you have like the time and the resources available to help support it. Any other questions? So the only manual pieces are going to be the features within, let me show you. So all of this is all custom built by our full stack developers, right? So we're providing a separate view of what the data looks like in Calibra to here. Adding in certain functionalities like this browse by business view, right? That's more front end work. So anything that is done in Calibra, we have to know exactly what they're updating and how they're updating it so that we know how to display it on the front end. So connection with the data governance team and my KX product team, they just have to keep, we just have to keep talking with each other and making sure that if there's a new attribute that they just created that we want to show on the front end, I have to let my development team know so that they can show it on the front end. So that kind of stuff is just minor like front end tasks. So we're trying actually with a new feature of Calibra called Calibra Edge to automate data classification, but we have a whole team that does data classification. So every time I onboard or create a data inventory, I mark the assets that we need to do data classification for. We send that to the data classification team. They do that manually, and then we put it into the platform. But we're working with Calibra to leverage the Edge functionality so that we can automate that process. So still some pending work to be done there. Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone.